All right, guys, what is going on? My name is Joe, aka Cap.
I'm Dom, not Mysterio.
Scott Bash.
And I'm Francis.
And this is The Push. Guys, a brand new episode, and it didn't take us a month to get to this one.
And it's still light out time of recording.
And it's still light out in time of recording, because that was important to tell the audience for some reason.
It's the little things, you know?
Daylight savings, yay.
Remember, people, there was spring happened yesterday.
And it still feels like winter.
Welcome to March.
It rained on my way home.
Good. Just for you.
Just for you, specifically for Francis. Nowhere else did it rain. Alright, enough talking about the weather. Guys, what the hell's been going on in wrestling this week?
Wrestlemania is continuing to take shape.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We got some new matches to talk about. But first, before we get to that, we need to talk about the other side real quickly. Let's talk about AEW. Let's talk about AEW. Let's talk about
distinguished competition.
Let's talk about last week, the debut of Mercedes Moné, also known as Sasha Banks, in WWE. She is back on television, I guess you would say.
Yeah. After her
American television, anyway.
Yeah, after her stint in Japan.
Yes, she is back to grace our televisions once again. Or then again, is it so much gracing our televisions? Dom, I believe you have an article for us.
I do. I have an article from Ringside News that went over the particulars of Mercedes' debut on AEW. So she debuted in her hometown of Boston, Massachusetts. And to not explosive fanfare. I mean, I didn't see how the arena was, but in terms of ratings, she didn't do very good. After months of discussion and rumors making multiple rounds all over the internet, Mercedes Moné made her AEW debut at Big Business. Being in her hometown of Boston, the star had a dream come true moment. However, the viewership for the segment wasn't as good as you would have expected. The show attracted an average of 800,000 viewers, which is not very impressive considering the fact that millions around the world knew that former WWE superstar was set to make her debut. Addressing the underwhelming viewership, Eric Bischoff did have some comments to say.
Did he ever.
Compliments of Ringside News.
Oh shit, did he have some
Bischoff
things to say?
Bischoff was quoted as saying, same thing here with Mercedes. I mean, 800,000 viewers on the show where you're bringing in arguably one of the more recognizable female stars in the wrestling industry, who spent, I don't know how many years, maybe a decade, at a high-profile position within the largest wrestling company in the world. You bring her into AEW and you only get 800,000 viewers. I know you're going to say Dave Meltzer immediately went, well, they didn't advertise her, that's why. Bullshit, who are you kidding? If there was anybody who was a wrestling fan or a fan of AEW who didn't know Mercedes was going to make her debut in Boston, then I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, so... Damn. Alright, so...
Easy got some words.
So what did you guys think? What did you guys think of Sasha's... Or Mercedes, I should say. Mercedes' return.
Wrong, I'm all for, like, surprise returns. Especially this really wasn't much of a surprise. Like, everyone knew she was coming. And, like, everyone was like, oh, she's going to sign with AEW, she's going to sign with AEW. You know, it's kind of like Punk. Every time a company goes to Chicago, they're like, oh, Punk's coming. You know, so it's like one of those, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when she was in Boston, that was, like, the perfect time for her to debut. I think because of all the rumors and speculation, they might have been better off advertising it. Maybe they would have got more viewership.
Francis, you got some words?
Yeah, she had a bigger pop when she showed up in Japan, and those crowds are usually silent because they treat wrestling more as a spectator sport.
Yeah, it's very respectful over there. But she did. I don't know. I feel like it was a very underwhelming debut for her, for someone as well known as her, to get a very lackluster pop like that. Surprising to me.
Yeah, I will definitely agree. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I'm happy to see that she's in AEW finally. I feel like AEW is a good fit for her. I'd say a good fit. Yeah, man. I don't know how well people. I don't know how much of it was that they weren't advertising her for the show, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like, that the signs kind of were there for it. I mean, the name of the show was called Big Business. There have been several dirt sheets that show like all the Easter eggs and stuff like that. So like it was definitely underwhelming for me, especially someone who, if you had asked even like I don't know, 5 years ago, was probably one of the most popular women in wrestling.
She is one of the 4 horsewomen.
She is.
There's no arguing that.
She is. So it's a bit unfortunate to see that it wasn't the roar that you would hope for for a woman of her caliber.
Oh yeah, I mean, unfortunately, she has to try to get a pop from half an arena, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. All right, Scott.
All right.
I've been feeling the anger through the computer. Keep in mind we're a family show, Scott.
On this subject, there's only one anger that I have towards in the wrestling business, and we're not going to be talking about that subject today. So this is going to be a little bit of deterring away from Mercedes Moné, but it's also going to be probably a reason why her appearance was lackluster, because I've never really been a fan of hers personally, because I felt like the number one issue that she has, and it really makes it boring, is that there's no development, and she's basically just the same character. Like, you'll see different wrestlers have characters, and throughout the stories, maybe through different wrestlers, their character will develop into something. They'll talk a certain way different, or they'll have a certain attitude different, but they'll still be their like heel or face thing. Okay. Hers, I get that. She's really just basic. Like,
you feel like she's less caked up Nicki Minaj.
I mean, it's amazing because when you go from the early days when she was Sasha Banks going into NXT to WWE, they kind of always changed up their gimmick. You know what I mean? And they would make them something different. But for Sasha, she's one of the few people, because you can't really change her into anything else. I feel like she can't do anything else. And
no, that's fair, because even like when they try to make her face, she's still playing like the same exact character.
Actually, I would argue that there's less personality.
I know we want to talk about this, but this is also the problem with AEW and why their ratings are so low, and why we've been seeing pictures of empty stadiums of like a whole like corners, like an entire like more than 50%. It's because they have a lot of wrestlers who are very skilled, but WWE has proven why they've been on top for a while is because the storytelling is on a different level, and if you don't have the wrestlers that change it up and make the storyline something different, then the wrestlers that you do have that do that were mainly products of WWE, so they brought that over to you.
Yeah,
and this was the issue with me from the beginning of the company. It's you want to be different from WWE, but yet you brought in way too much. You brought in way too much talent that's been past their prime, and those were one of the reasons why you didn't want to be like WWE.
So
Part of the storytelling reason is also that AEW lost their best storyteller in Cody, and they're one of their bigger draws in Punk.
But again, both former WWE guys.
Yeah.
So let me
current.
So let me ask you you guys this, actually, because you know what, Scott, you actually bring up a lot of good points, and these are points that I wanna ask you guys, because I've been thinking this for a little while. Lately, when it comes to AEW, and I'm sure for our listeners they'll notice, we try to talk about AEW as much as we can, but I'm sure that you'll notice that we don't bring them up that much because
there's not
much stuff to really talk about over there. I mean, don't get me wrong, things are happening over there and stuff like that. Okada is now in
WWE's constantly just pumping out news.
They're pumping out and banger stories too.
Yeah.
WWE is in the midst of one of the best redemption arcs ever.
People are calling this new era. People are calling it that WWE is now in the Renaissance era, and I have to agree.
I call it the resurrection.
Yeah, because they're going back to like Attitude Era type stuff, just minus the bleeding. But I am gonna agree with Scott here. I've been saying it for years. Even before I started like actually like training and like learning the ins and outs of professional wrestling as a wrestler and not just a fan. Psychology is everything when it comes to professional wrestling. There's a story. How do you progress the story? You go through matches. You have your feuds, and you have to be able to tell a story in the ring with your actions, not just promos. Because without good in-ring psychology, unfortunately, as much as it is cliche to say it, AEW is basically a glorified indie show. Because I've been to indie shows that have better in-ring psychology than AEW matches do. Well, most AEW matches do.
But here's another.
Like Scott even said, all the former WWE guys kind of brought that in. Cody being the prime example of it. He was phenomenal at telling a story in the ring and doing that kind of stuff. So you lose him, you lose Punk. Yeah, okay, you have Edge now, but Edge, they're only feuding him with Christian for some reason. And we've all seen that match so many times in WWE.
And we're getting it again.
You have this talent. Use it.
Also, I'm not sure how true this is, but I think the deal with New Japan may have fallen through because I don't see a bunch of like New Japan guys showing up on AEW TV. I could be wrong about that, but like I'm not hearing it.
It depends on, but they don't need New Japan to show up. They have a stacked locker room. They have so many people.
It's packed to the brim. Why do they need
more people?
You don't need New Japan.
That's what I'm saying. This is the same problem that people were giving WWE shit for like 5 years ago. Was there's too many people. They sign too many people just because they don't want competition, and then like the people are just sitting and catering. Yeah, that's great. You have half that talent, half that locker room that's been signed to AEW sitting in the back at catering, doing absolutely nothing week in and week out.
Well, hold on, Dom.
But it's not WWE, so I'm happy.
Hold on.
Don't you want to wrestle?
But hold on.
Hold on.
Like that. Scott, hold on. I'm sorry.
It's also the point of when you look at their roster. It's why does 90% of your roster in a 6-man faction with one another, in which 3 or 4 of the wrestlers are standing behind the only 2 that go out for those matches.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's another thing. Like I wouldn't say it's a problem, but like they do really like factions and tag teams.
They do.
Like, what was it? There's like 4 different tag titles on AEW right now.
Kind of.
There's the AEW Championship, the 6-man tag championship, the AAA Tag Team Championship, Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship.
There's probably a TBS and TNT Tag Team Championship. I don't know if there is.
No. But there isn't. But here, Here's.
But that's 5 tag team championships right there. You don't need that many.
I do agree that there's a overflux when it comes to championships, but there's something that I got 2 points that I'm gonna do. One is a statement, the other one's more of a question. Dom, you mentioned a couple of years back when WWE was taking in this like influx of talent, and you're absolutely right. And for a very long time, they were not doing anything with that talent. But right now, they still have a stacked roster of people. They still have a stacked roster of people. It's so stacked that there are 2 days of WrestleMania now. Because they have that. Because they just have that much.
In WWE land, but like they're doing. What my point was that the AEW is doing the same thing that WWE was doing, and people always bitched about it for WWE, but you don't hear anyone saying anything like, "Oh, AEW's roster is too big." They're like, "No, they're signing all the people that WWE doesn't want." I'm like, but what's the difference? What WWE was doing, it's like, hey, look, they have a job. They're getting paid to just fly city to city and not do anything and sit at catering. And you had a problem with that, but when AEW does it, it's okay.
And at least WWE recognizes that there needs to be a limit.
Yeah.
WWE also had 3 shows, 3 different shows. You have 2 channel. You have 1 show separated into 2, and it's mainly the same guys from both going into Friday, Thursday, whichever one.
I'll throw this in as well. When it comes to AEW, when it specifically comes to the stuff that's going on in AEW, it's not like there's nothing going on in that company. It's the fact that things happen in that company and it feels like nobody cares. I will give you perfect example. Mercedes Moné comes to AEW last week. Yeah, it did not cause a roar, it caused a murmur. Not too many people really cared. I'll throw in. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Dom, but like, there are other examples too. Edge and Christian are fighting this week. Nobody cares.
And no one cares
because it's old. It's been done already. We don't need it. Feud Edge with some younger talent. Elevate young talent.
No, guys, you want to know what it is? It's the fucking Dr. Manhattan meme. It's like, oh, it's year so-and-so. I'm how many ever years old. Edge is fighting Christian. And again and again and again.
It really is.
It's the fucking Dr. Manhattan meme.
Shit, I'll even give you an even better one. You remember a couple episodes ago, we were talking about Okada coming to the States, coming to either WWE or AEW. Kazuchika Okada is one of the biggest stars in Japan. He was the guy of New Japan for years. He comes to AEW.
The Young Bucks fucking bankroller.
He comes to AEW on a $4.8 million contract. Nobody cares.
This is the guy we get our money from, everybody.
Nobody cares. It's staggering to me.
No sense.
It is staggering to me.
Like, what blows my mind, they 100% spent a metric fuck ton of money on him just because they didn't want him to go to WWE, because he would have if the money was right, and you can't convince me otherwise. But it's like they did it to draw ratings, and it didn't even draw ratings.
And it's staggering to me, man. It's staggering.
What was the point of spending $4 million on someone if they're not going to draw ratings? And I'm not saying it's anything on Okada, because he can very much draw the ratings.
Of course he can.
He's in the right story. But like, you got him. Like, he's basically the Young Bucks sugar daddy. Wow, what a great fucking story. Meanwhile, he could have had a WrestleMania debut moment in WWE.
He could have been fighting Gunther for the IC title at WrestleMania.
He could have had Okada challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. You know how fucking people would have went nuts for that?
People would have gone nuts, and they've never even heard of him. People.
What'd you say, Cap?
People would have gone nuts for that match, and these people would have gone nuts, and these are people who have never even heard the name Okada before.
Yeah, because his in-ring talent can speak for itself.
The man is
don't forget this. He also would have came out by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He would have been able to control his own fame.
Yeah,
because they know it's because they were afraid that he wasn't going to get any pop, and so they had to bring in people that were going to get a pop.
The Rainmaker gimmick would have gone super over.
It would have.
People would have loved it.
It would have. It absolutely would have.
Like true Rainmaker.
And it's not like Okada's never been in AEW. The AEW fan base knows who Okada is. He's been there before.
He has.
But it's a temporary hearing loss, not permanent.
So here's the question that I have for you guys, because the first episode we talked about the state of wrestling, and Scott mentioned that AEW was going to be struggling this year. And everybody hold on to your belt, because I'm about to tell you something. Scott Bash was right.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready, Cat. Please, no.
The world is going to end as we know it.
Scott Bash,
Cat,
you were right.
The sky just went out.
The sky just went out, god damn it. And the apocalypse is upon us.
I want to hear what Cap has to say.
Apocalypse was upon us.
I want to hear what Cap has to say.
I've told you 3 times already, you're right, you idiot.
Yes! Sorry, they talked, so I didn't get to hear it.
Oh god. Alright, so here's what we gotta do, because we can't live in a universe where Scott Bash is right. So what does
Everyone start watching AEW.
What does
AEW
that happened twice already today. We
talked
about it. It's the second right thing I wasn't talking about today.
Alright, because we cannot live in this universe, let me ask you guys, what does AEW need to do to fix this?
better booking.
Unfortunately, stop letting Tony do all the booking, because he's obviously not great at it.
No. Sell the company to someone who knows what they're doing.
Not even that. He could be the bankroll.
That's what you do.
That's fine. Let him own the company. He doesn't need to be in charge of creative.
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah, just better
because he's got the
booking.
money to fund the company. Clearly,
His
and the dude
dad
owns
has
the
the
Jacksonville
money.
Jaguars.
His dad has the money, to be honest.
Well, they both do, because they both own the Jacksonville Jaguars.
True.
Oh, right. It's the Khan family, not just Tony.
Yeah,
Right.
It's just not Tony's pops. It's everybody.
All right, Scott. Scott, what do they need to do? What do they need to do? How do we fix this?
Like I said, I think they need better booking. Stop doing the same feuds over and over again. Develop your talent. You have so much talent in your locker room that's not being utilized. Use it. The fuck? It's not hard.
Where is Keith Lee?
Yeah, exactly. My point exactly. But on top of that, I got something. I think what would help is if they... So they already have multiple shows, right? They need to do a brand split.
Real brand split.
Also, just make Friday longer. A 1-hour wrestling show is not enough.
Nope.
They need
On
to get
Friday
rid
at
of.
10 p.m.
They need to get rid of Rampage and do a second show. Exactly. I was going to say that before Dom mentioned it. Second show.
And damn it better be a real brand split.
Do a second show.
No, that's what I'm saying. It has to be a legit brand split. 2 different shows. You can have crossover things every now and then, but don't let it dominate.
Yeah.
Don't they have TBS and TNT?
Yeah.
They do. They named 2 of their championships after them.
Then you can have your major titles as the AEW titles, and then the minor titles could be different. No, the TBS for one show and TNT
the
for
TBS
another
championship is for women.
Yeah, and then you have
the TBS championship is just the women's version of the TNT championship. It's like a mid-card title. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I would just switch
Basically,
to having.
it's like back in the day when all the companies had the TV title. They just named it after the channel.
I was thinking more go with what WWE does, but instead of making your own titles, have the companies like TBS, TNT, the other companies that help own it or go through, right? So they can make their own. They put their brands into their own tag titles, their own.
No, because then it just becomes its own thing. But
it would help promote it also, because there would be Oh, come watch TBS for
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You could definitely do that, but I wouldn't let them take over every championship.
No, just
because then it becomes basically your NASCAR wearing 15 different freaking
No, just a tag and a minor
sponsorships on
title.
your freaking jacket.
I'll throw
just
in.
two.
I'll
Just a tag title and a minor title, and whatever add-ons you want to do, that will be AEW's major.
I'm gonna be.
They're owned.
I'm gonna be honest.
If you ever switch to a different company, you can just get rid of those and you'll be fine.
I'm gonna be honest with you. There's one thing that I think would also help: less titles. Less titles would help a lot. You don't need like 19 different titles.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, I miss the days like when WWE used to have more than like 4 titles. But that's beside because you look back in the day, like you watch something from like the early 2000s. It was, you had the heavyweight, the big gold. You had the WWE Championship. So there was a big main title on both shows. Then there was like the U.S. and the Intercontinental. That really hasn't changed. Your tag titles, that hasn't changed. But then you also had like the European Championship,
European title,
the hardcore title, the cruiserweight championship.
The light heavyweight title.
Give them this. They at least tried to bring back the cruiserweight thing.
Yeah, that was short-lived, but yeah, I remember.
But yeah, the cruiserweights. You had, like I said, the European Championship, which was like actually meant something. There was prestige to all these titles. Like nothing was a throwaway title. Now the United States Championship fucking title can't even get on TV.
Well, we'll get to that, but
well, Logan Paul's been on consistently.
He's
full time now.
Better. But what I'm saying, like when Rey Mysterio had it, he was like never around. He was never on TV. They never had matches for him.
True.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that later. Listen, to cap off this topic, look, we don't talk about AEW like this because, like, we're a bunch of WWE fanboys and we're smarks. Is that what the fuck they're called now online or something like that?
Yeah, we want it to be better.
We don't want we don't want to see the company die.
Because that will make both brands better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we want both brands to be better.
We want competition.
Yeah, I want like debut AEW back.
We want that back because when it started, it was fucking awesome.
It was hot.
It was incredible. it was awesome.
It was unstoppable.
But yeah, man, I hope that AEW can get this together because I've enjoyed having AEW around, and I want it to continue, man. I want to keep being able to have almost a full week of wrestling content. There's wrestling on TV almost every night now. So I want that to continue.
Monday Night Raw, NXT on Tuesdays, Dynamite on Wednesdays. There's nothing on Thursday.
I think TNA might be on Thursday.
I'm talking between AEW and WWE.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing on Thursdays. Friday is SmackDown and Dynamite.
Rampage.
And then Saturday's Collision.
And Collision, yeah.
And those are the weekends that there isn't a pay-per-view.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of pay-per-views, you like that transition, fellas? Like that transition?
Premium live event.
Yes, my apologies. I've gotten so used to calling them pay-per-views in my life that it just stuck. Speaking of premium live events.
Speaking of Preem.
Shut the fuck up, Francis.
Stop. All right.
That just sounds dirty.
It actually does. Why does that sound so much dirtier than he meant for it?
Because I fucking said it, that's
It just
why.
sounds like a weird version of pre-cum.
Like,
oh, God. No, Dom, we're a family show. Damn it. Are we?
John Cena meme. Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that?
That's true.
You know what
no family show would have Francis on it.
That's what I have to say about that cat.
And now we need to change the rating of the show.
The amount of times we have said the word fuck
Yeah, true. Anyway, WrestleMania. WrestleMania is coming up. Over the past week or so, we have gotten some new matches added to the card. Dom, I believe you have an article for me about what is coming up on WrestleMania. We are getting the card. The card's filling up, boys.
I do have an article ready to go. I am just gonna go through. I'm gonna go through the card, match by match, really quick, and then we'll talk about them. So, as we all know, we have the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. That will be the main event of night 2. Fun little thing, we have our contenders of that match pulling double duty that night. That weekend, because the main event of night 1 will be the Bloodline, consisting of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins in a tag team match to determine if the Bloodline will be barred from ringside and Roman will be left all by his lonesome on Sunday night, or if the match will be Bloodline rules. And as The Rock stated, in Bloodline rules, there are no rules.
I can't believe we get to watch Captain America and Iron Man fight Black Adam and Aquaman.
Fucking moron.
Nerd.
Also, on night 2, we have the World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. We have the WWE Women's Champion Io Sky versus Bayley. The Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens in the United States title triple threat match.
That was a match announced this
Intercontinental
week.
Championship match. Yes. An Intercontinental Championship match between Gunther and Sami Zayn. We have Uso Civil War, Jimmy versus Jay. The undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship 6-pack tag team ladder match. Try to say that 5 times fast. Holy fuck. And then LA Knight versus AJ Styles. So far, that's all we have.
All right. So far,
See, I'm sure they're going to add some more matches to the card.
probably they have to fill a full weekend. So
But as of right now, not as of right now, that is official. Every single title in WWE as a company is on the line WrestleMania weekend.
holy shit.
Short of the women's tag team titles.
Because they can never catch a goddamn break.
Yeah. Honestly, half the time I forget they exist anymore. Okay, so we've already talked plenty about Roman and Cody. I don't think we need to go into too much detail with that. As we know, Cody won the Royal Rumble, challenged Roman Reigns. Rock called him a bitch. They played with each other's titties for a little bit, and now we're going to have that fight.
Cody this past week told The Rock he's got little dick syndrome.
Yeah. Rock, in response, told Cody that he was, in fact, eyeing him at the urinal.
Yo, that's how you definitely know they're entering a new age of rated R, because I never suspected Cody to say nothing near the R rated R words.
Is that really rated R?
Off.
Let's be honest with ourselves. Is that really rated R?
I don't even know if that's PG.
It's definitely not PG, but let's be honest. We heard all of that from Xbox Live chats when we were 12 years old.
Yeah, and those.
He's called him an a-hole.
You know what? Don't even start. Because
Cap. Cody also called him an a-hole.
Oh my god!
He didn't say it how I said it. He actually said the entire word.
He's an asshole. How many assholes do I have on this ship? Yo.
Oh my god.
But yeah, and then the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth friggin' Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. That is going to be a hell of a match.
It's going to be, and I believe that.
Will Seth Rollins keep his title, or will Drew McIntyre finally sign the contract and win the championship?
He fucking better.
Yeah.
Or will Damian Priest finally remember that he holds the Money in the Bank contract?
But there's actually a contract in that briefcase.
There is?
Will Damian Priest lose the tag titles and then use the contract to win them back?
Ooh, that would actually be good.
Tag belts.
That would be interesting, but I doubt they'll do it for the tag team titles. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if they lose the tag team titles at Mania.
They
and
have
he
to.
Cashes in, so he has a solo title. Be like, look, well, I still have gold.
Yeah, true. And I think Rhea will still have gold as
WWE
well.
Women's Championship, Io Sky versus Bayley. Honestly, I feel like I should be more excited about this match, but I feel like Io really hasn't done much as a champion since winning.
She's just been standing behind the entire group, just letting them beat up on Bayley.
True.
I want her to start telling her story and doing stuff on her
But
own.
that's the thing; she really doesn't have much of a story. That's like what kind of leads me to believe that they're just going to give the belt to Bayley. Let her have she's basically back to being a sympathetic babyface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's like
yeah.
she's not whiny Karen anymore. Now she's like kind of sympathetic.
Little bit.
She's not
bit.
the wide-eyed woman child.
Yeah, she's not the hugger anymore.
So
I doubt they're bringing that back.
So here's my question for you guys, because we're not really giving our thoughts so much on this. We're gonna have obviously our whole prediction show and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this: is there a match so far that you guys are least excited for, or you look at it and you're like, this really doesn't have to be here?
No, I think every match has to be there.
But
Because
I think
it's WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania 40. It's big anniversary show. They need to pull out all the stops. Don't get me wrong. I'm very excited for this match because I know the two of them will pull off a banger.
They absolutely will.
I'm just disappointed with Io's title reign so far because they really haven't done much.
Oh, they absolutely will. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm not saying that none of these people don't deserve to be on the card or anything like that, but there's one match in particular that I'm not entirely thrilled for.
Can I guess?
You can make a guess.
Is it AJ in LA?
No. It's not that.
Wait, no. Can I get one more? Is it the U.S. triple threat?
All right, for the sake of this episode not going on for 3.5 hours, I'm just going to say it.
It's not. I thought your fucking Logan Paul hate boner had struck again.
No, because he wants to see him lose.
Wait, then what is it, Gap?
Stupid.
Believe it or not, it's Jimmy and Jay.
Yeah.
What? No way.
No. Okay. I think I see where Cap is coming from. Only because they only just started developing this feud and match
man.
last week.
Yeah, I'm sorry to tell you, listen, I know this has been their dream forever and stuff like that, and I am happy for them that they were able to do this.
This match has been happening since Jay left the group. We knew about this. We knew this match was going to happen since the group.
But they haven't said anything. They haven't said anything. They haven't done anything. They haven't even been on the same show.
You don't need to have a long conversation about it. We don't have to drag what happened on.
We
know the whole thing. We know that there's tension. And we know that Jimmy just wants to screw over Jay. So Jay's like, you know what? Let's just do it. Because if they did it earlier, Jay would have never. They did it at a time where Gunther's story was kind of. To be honest, as a big fan of Gunther as I am, it was kind of at a standstill. People we're happy that he's champion, he's doing amazing, but it wasn't getting a pop. And then
you know what it is,
and then perfectly hits. Jimmy and Jay comes in, and it's oh my god, Jay was about to challenge him, probably get a title shot at WrestleMania against Gunther, but now that Jimmy's here, it's all ruined. And then now this is where it's
yeah, but here's the thing.
To piggyback.
I'm sorry. I just need to explain myself here. Yes, there's always been this underlying tension between Jimmy and Jay. Obviously, it was never really resolved that Jimmy turned his back on him and stuff like that. That was never really resolved. Here's my problem is the fact that, it feels like they dropped that entirely for 4 or 5 months. They
year.
didn't really bring it up or anything like that, and then all of a sudden it came back up again. It to me it felt like a oh shit, yeah, this happened story.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, sure.
I feel that.
I can see
I
that.
feel like they could have had each other, like the two of them, like fucking with each other in their matches earlier.
And for a while you did have
You know,
that.
let it build.
For a while you did have that, but then it felt like there was just nothing about it for like 3 months. And then like when Jay got his IC title match, that's when all of a sudden they were like, "Oh shit, Jimmy."
Yeah. And like I'm still gonna kinda go back to the Royal Rumble with this one. You know, that you have the two of them start off the Royal Rumble and presented it as like this huge deal. Like, oh my god, they're fighting each other. The second two other people got in the ring, they were done. They stopped. They didn't even look at each other after that. I'm like,
Why?
fuck, man? Like, you guys could have did so much more together and like really, but I don't know. We'll see how the match goes in Mania. But to piggyback off what Scott was saying, with the Intercontinental Championship match, we're gonna like shift on over to that. Yeah, I agree that there was a moment when Gunther's title reign did kind of hit like a low, and I think it's just because there's no one left for him to fight.
That's why I'm kind of upset
Gable
that
like
it's going to be
15
Sammy.
times already, and like I really wanted Gable to win, but I don't know if Sammy's gonna win.
He might. I feel like the story's too perfect for him not to.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, yeah, it was
they
supposed
could
to be
very
Brock.
easily give it to Sammy and let him have his moment, since they really didn't do anything with him since the end of the Bloodline thing. Because we know that he was never going to get the Universal Championship.
No.
The only reason he got that match was because he became so over with the fans.
Yeah.
It would have been stupid not to give him the match, but everyone knew he wasn't winning that title.
Yeah.
So it's like,
unfortunately, tragic
have him-
but true.
Yeah. And, like, you know, he took Reigns to the limit. So it's like, it wouldn't be unbelievable that he beats Gunther. But, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Where do they go from there? Because obviously, if the second Gunther loses that IC title, he's moving up to the main event. And he's going to be, like, challenging for the heavyweight championship.
Yeah.
Cody's first big feud, it could be.
Or Seth.
Or Seth.
Drew,
Or Seth.
or Damian Priest, if he decides to cash in.
If he remembers.
Yeah.
You know. I feel like I hammered that in, but like it's too funny not to be honest with you.
I'm convinced he lost the actual contract when he got the purple briefcase and just refuses to tell anybody.
He's gonna pull a Boogie Nights and tell everyone, "Oh no, it's totally in there, but it's filled with like cookbook pages."
Yeah,
it's true.
So Francis, what's your disappointing match that you don't want to see? Continue on.
Like Dom said, everything's really hyped. They're pulling out all the stops for this one. It's a big anniversary show, but like, honestly, like if there's one I'm not really that hype about, maybe LA AJ.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm like, that's another feud that's like they kind of been building it, but I'm like, meh.
Guys,
but I get it.
I'm so disappointed.
Matches.
I'm so disappointed in all three of you right now.
Again, it's not that I think it's going to be a bad match. I'm sure it's going to be a fucking great match.
Yeah.
No.
I'm just like, you have all these other matches.
Yeah. There's only one perfect answer, and I'm disappointed in all three of you for not mentioning this one, because this one's the obvious number one most useless match is this goddamn tag team match with Cody and Seth.
What are you talking about?
I thought you were talking about the ladder match. I was like, "What are you talking about?"
God damn it, Scott! You're using this as a chance to go at the Rock again.
The ladder match is insane, and that's probably going to be the last match we talk when it comes to this topic, because it is
honestly,
insane.
That was going to be what I was going to bring up next.
Yeah. But
the only match left.
But I think it's completely stupid. The fact that you have 3 out of the 4 wrestlers doing both nights where you didn't need, and also you don't even need the fourth member. You don't even need him on the card, because it would have been great no matter what this WrestleMania. But We don't need that. The stipulations is stupid as shit because I'd much rather see Cody Rhodes win with the adversity of having an enormous group with Roman Reigns.
Well, honestly,
it was great having. Oh, it's great. It was great. Seth's gonna be there as a bodyguard, even though he's probably gonna get insanely is hurt. He's gonna be insanely beat up. There's somebody there to protect him, and you could have made a little story of. You could have made a little story of. Oh, there's certain wrestlers that's like, yeah, I got your back, and then there's a group that blocks out the bloodline, and so it's only Cody and Roman. But now it's just, if you win this match, it's this match. That match could have won.
That's probably what's going to happen anyway.
No, but this match is we're gonna have this tag match, and we could have just had some other match there. Something
yes, I agree.
That could have been probably better.
No, I agree with that. That they could have done this on the go home SmackDown instead of having it be at WrestleMania. But you also have to think about it this way: it's The Rock. He's a draw, no matter how you feel about him.
And it's a crazy anniversary, and it's an anniversary show, man.
They want viewerships, and it's an anniversary show. You know he's not going to be the only old timer that shows up.
Absolutely.
Grandpa Hulk Hogan's going to show up.
Grandpa Terry.
We're going to get viewerships no matter what. Because it's finally a WrestleMania that we're excited about.
Yeah, but you're going to get more with The Rock there, man.
But you have to admit that The Rock is going to draw more. He is a household name. To the casual fan who doesn't watch wrestling on a day-to-day like we do, The Rock is a big name, and they're going to watch just for him.
Shit, he was a household name for our parents, man.
No matter how you feel about him, yes, we feel a certain way because we watch wrestling. We're excited for all the other matches.
I'm excited for the tag team match too, to be honest.
Because there's people who don't only watch WrestleMania once a year, and they catch up just by watching the promos. So to them, The Rock is a huge deal.
To everybody, he is,
cool.
man.
I think it's cool that he's coming in because that's my childhood.
Same,
but
that's stupid.
I agree.
It's the same stupidity with the Super Bowl. It's like, I only watch it because I'm only watching it this time. I don't watch the whole thing. I don't, enjoy the whole thing. I only watch it when it's important to me. No.
But that's not bad. We're not. Hold on, man.
Not because it's a certain event. You watch it because you like it, not because it's a certain event. You just want to feel important into the situation.
Man.
Anyway,
actually, hold on. Francis, I got a question for you.
I hopefully have an answer.
Whose hate boner is worse, mine for Logan Paul or Scott's for The Rock?
They're equal. They're equal in terms of sheer, fuck this guy energy.
There's a difference. After WrestleMania, my hate boner be gone. Yours is still going to be there because Logan Paul's not going anywhere.
You think The Rock is going away after WrestleMania?
My hate boner goes somewhere else. That's the point. That's the point of me.
Moving on to it'll probably just move back to Francis.
Scott doesn't hate me.
You want to bet?
Nah,
he loves to hate you. Anyway, moving on to shut up, Scott. Moving on to the tag team ladder match, probably one of the most exciting matches of the weekend outside of the main event.
I'm gonna love this.
Outside of the main event, I think this is gonna be one of the most exciting matches of the weekend.
I'm gonna love this.
I missed ladder matches at WrestleMania.
Same. 4 out of the 6 teams have been announced. We have Triple H's 2 sons in DIY. We have the New Day, Awesome Truth, and of course our undisputed tag team champions, the Judgment Day. 2 more teams have still to be announced. What are we thinking?
I mean, there's not much really to say when it comes to this one. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be the most exciting match.
No, I'm saying who do we think are going to be these last 2 teams?
Alpha Academy, definitely.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
What? Otis and what's his name?
Yeah, Gable. Give them
not Gable.
payday.
Not Gable.
Tozawa?
No. Yeah.
You know what?
I don't think Gable's no longer. I don't think they should put Gable in tag matches anymore. Tag titles anymore.
No, he
I think
needs
he's
to be a
above
solo
that.
guy, but you know what? Like,
He can have a faction,
just to
but
get-
he has to go
just
after
to give him
titles.
the WrestleMania moment. Like, just put him in the match. And I don't think he's going to win. I'm saying who's going to be
Sure.
in the match. Who's those last two teams?
It's probably not going to happen, but give me Pretty Deadly.
It's a possibility.
Authors of Pain.
I would love
AOP is
AOP.
I think AOP is probably going to be one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I say we should get. What are the odds that they pull? What was it? WrestleMania a few years ago when the Hardys came back.
That was.
What are the odds they pull one of those again?
Please, God,
Were
no.
the
would
Hardys
come back?
contract up soon?
Please,
the
God,
Dudleys are
not
still
the Hardys again.
No, not the
Nah.
Hardys. I'm saying they do something similar.
Although
This-
Matt was backstage.
Oh, it's it's possible.
I can't think
He
of a
wasn't
tag
backstage.
team.
He was in the crowd.
Oh, okay.
It's
I
possible,
can't
but
think of a tag team, really.
it's possible, but I
Well, there's
cannot think of
AOP,
who they would
Pretty
bring
Deadly.
back.
Oh my god, they could pull up a tag team from NXT if they really wanted to, but the Dudleys are around.
The Dudleys are around.
They could have a moment, and like who better in a ladder match than the Dudleys, and like the Hardys.
I
But
would
with the
still
Hardys
prefer
and
it.
Edge and Christian being in AEW, they're obviously out of the picture.
I know who should bring back
Who?
as a just to show up and just be a tag team for one night.
Brothers of Destruction.
No.
Please, God, no.
You're gonna. I love this tag team, and they did have the tag titles for over 400 days, and that's London and Paul London and Brian Kendricks.
Oh God.
Please, God, no.
Tag team, they were great together.
God.
I like that tag team.
Yeah, talk about a blast from the past.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
I couldn't think of any, and then that popped up. I was like, ooh.
I think Kendrick works at the Performance Center, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
And Vince is no longer in charge, and I don't think Triple H cares anymore that he smiled during a fake death scene.
Never forget, Paul London lost his job for smiling.
True.
Yeah.
Yep, he smiled for a scene that got ruined because of something totally different.
Yeah.
We're not going to mention it, but it's crazy. That was a crazy 3 days.
2007 was a weird year.
But
True.
Anyway, that is the card so far for WrestleMania weekend. It is looking pretty stacked, in my opinion. I can't wait to see what else they add to it because I'm sure it's not done.
It's looking very stacked, man, and I'm gonna level with you. Obviously, come either next week or the week before that, or the week after that, we're gonna have our full predictions show on who we think is winning.
Well, no,
we're gonna give all our thoughts.
Yeah, we have 2 more weeks. Next week will be a regular episode, but then the following week will be our go-home show, if you will, where we will go over all the matches in depth, make our predictions, and
Probably kill each other.
dig into the card. I do want to take this time for the last segment of our episode to come down to a somber note.
Go right ahead.
WWE
Now.
and Triple H announced this earlier this week that they have been working and producing a documentary about the late, great Wyndham Rotunda, also known as Bray Wyatt or The Fiend. I'm not going to lie to you guys, this one's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Bray was, I can't even say arguably, he was my absolute favorite wrestler. His in-ring work was outstanding. His psychology was out of this world. And his creativity with everything he did was absolutely fantastic, what so many wrestlers strive for. Having met the guy when I used to work in Madison Square Garden, he's nothing but a sweetheart. I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about him, and it hurt for me when he passed. That was like the first celebrity to pass away that really hurt since I was in high school. But Triple H did post a photo of the documentary, like the cover, I guess, or like a poster for the documentary on X, and with the following quote: "Wyndham Rotunda had a brilliant mind. There was no wall he wouldn't break down in the name of storytelling. You had no choice but to believe in him. He was just that good." Bray Wyatt becoming immortal, coming to Peacock on April 1st.
That's before Mania.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
The documentary itself will be narrated by none other than Mr. Mark Calloway, also better known as The Undertaker. They're going to go over from WWE did make an official post about the documentary and what it's going to be about. It says the documentary looks at the remarkable career of the late Wyndham Rotunda, also known as Bray Wyatt, one of the most skillful, tenacious, and creative WWE superstars of all time. Emotional and insightful interviews are featured throughout the documentary from those who knew him best, including members of his family, Bo Dallas, for example, as well as other WWE superstars like Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Becky Lynch, and Triple H. The documentary also includes interviews with Wyndham as well as never-before-seen footage from the WWE archives.
I still can't believe he's gone.
I know, that really
took
me by surprise last summer. Like I said, like so much of his style and his creativity is what inspired me to actually get in the ring and wrestle. And, you know, as well as, you know, I incorporated a lot of his stuff into my style. So it hit home pretty hard for me. Like I said, he's probably like my all-time favorite. Like I still have his side plates on my replica championship belt that I will never take off now.
One of the great things about Bray Wyatt is that at a time where WWE sorely lacked any gimmicks, not like good gimmicks or bad gimmicks, just gimmicks in general, at a time where they desperately needed gimmicks, he delivered one of the all-time great with the Eater of Worlds. And then he did this, and then a few years later, he did the SpongeBob meme of "Want to see me do it again" with the feet. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Having the Wyatt family as a faction and just a presence in the WWE, and like you said, in a time where there really wasn't a lot of gimmicks per se. It was just a lot of wrestlers. Like you had, don't get me wrong, everyone is extremely talented in the WWE, but like you know, he brought back that era of I'm trying to think of the right word, but like back
Gravitas?
I guess, but like when we were younger, there were so many more gimmicks. There were characters, you know. It wasn't just like, hey, I'm a wrestler and I'm a good guy, and I'm a wrestler and I'm a bad guy. We're gonna fight each other. But no, you know, you had the Undertaker, Kane, all these like the Boogeyman. You had like all these like supernatural, kind of beyond life characters, and you know, we really lacked that. And then all of a sudden, here comes this freaking cult leader from the swamps of Louisiana, and he was just like took over, like took the world, like took the WWE by storm. And like to this day, the second anyone brings up Bray Wyatt, everyone's phones go right up.
Yeah.
Fireflies.
Just for him.
Ever since. No matter what you said about him, whether it was good or bad, you know, there was always fireflies in the crowd whenever he made an appearance. And you good there, Francis?
I'm good.
Yeah.
You're just going, what the fuck is that?
I'll throw my 2 cents in here as well. You know, there was always when it came specifically to the WWE, specifically during that time, people mentioned it a lot. Of WWE wrestlers always had also this certain look to them as well, and Bray,
6'5" and jacked as fuck.
Bray,
big sweaty man,
was not those things, but.
No.
What I absolutely adored about Bray Wyatt is from the minute I saw the first ever even the promo of the Wyatt family, you were hypnotized by him. He had this aura about him that he would come on the screen and you had no idea what the fuck he was talking about most of the time. But you were captivated, you were hypnotized, you were mesmerized by him, that despite the fact that you had no clue what he was saying, you hung on to every word he said.
100%, especially because all his promos meant something.
They
weren't just there to be there.
True. The creative mind of Bray Wyatt is simply something that we have not seen in our lifetime, and it's probably going to be a very long time before we see something like that again.
100%.
He's a special breed of man.
Just the way he took over, even still, like after he left as the Fiend and was coming back for his most recent run. You remember the QR codes?
Yeah.
Yep.
You could ask my wife. I could not stop myself. I was like glued to the TV with my phone open to the camera, waiting for a fucking QR code to pop up on the screen because I knew it was Bray. The second they showed up that first time and it showed the little bouncing rabbit, I'm like, that's Bray. That's got to be Bray. Oh my god! And I know I'm not the only one.
You're not.
His fans still are the most dedicated fans, in my opinion, because they just love everything about this man.
Even in death, this man has a following. He still has his fireflies.
100%.
Always
right.
Will.
So, Bray Wyatt, I was thinking about when the documentary came out and this was going to be a major subject. I was thinking of, personally, my favorite wrestler of all time right now currently is The Undertaker. And being someone that I like those type of people, I'm into stuff like paranormal, and Bray Wyatt really attracted to me because it was stuff I liked, that I was interested in. But Bray Wyatt, when Undertaker we were spoiled by him because we grew up with him in the business the whole time. But the Undertaker was this being above all that wasn't good or bad. But when things needed to be settled or things needed to be corrected, he was the guy. And he was the guy that you just mesmerized because of how amazing his character is and how realistic he makes it. And Bray was supposed to be that person to replace him. He was supposed to still be doing this. He would probably still be doing this maybe for the next 10 years if he wanted to, if he was still alive. He was the person. He was the person that was gonna take us over back into having that character that is just like the Undertaker. And now that we lost him way too early, it's like, are we ever gonna get that type of person again? Because to me, that is what could be missing for that perfect piece in WWE, that we don't have that Bray Wyatt type person.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, unfortunately, because not only in ring, I agree with you, Scott. The guy Undertaker was that guy that he was the end all be all. You wanted to prove yourself, you're fighting the Undertaker. And Bray was, and then on top of that, the mesmerizing stories and that air of that larger than life personality that wasn't really the otherworldly presence. Like no one had that since the Undertaker and Kane. So with them retiring, and then you had Bray coming up. So like you said, everyone was like, he's the next Undertaker, and then we kind of had that moment not long before he passed, when the Undertaker was with him in the ring and like whispered something in his ear after a segment, and like kind of everyone was like, that's the passing the baton kind of thing, but looking at it from the other side, the Undertaker was also a locker room leader. He was very respected, still is.
He was everyone's wrestling father figure.
Exactly, and Bray was very much like that. From what I've heard from other people, from wrestlers in the WWE telling their stories after he passed. He was nothing but respected. Everyone loved him. No one had anything bad to say about him.
Yeah, it wasn't even his Bray. It was an amazing thing enough. It wasn't his Firefly's character. Like when he hit that pinnacle, like he hit the pinnacle years ago. That he was on that Undertaker pinnacle where he's the guy you have to face, because we kept seeing it in him versus John Cena, him versus even LA Knight. He was new when he bumped in and he had a fight with him. It was The Fiend. The Fiend kind of hit that pinnacle, like, all right, if you need to prove yourself, this is the guy. Like, he finally hit that pinnacle, and then it was never really to take off because of obvious reasons that we deal with now.
Yeah.
No.
Unfortunately, it was, like I said, he was gone too soon. And
way too soon.
So I'm gonna end it with a rest in peace, Bray.
We love you, Bray.
Rest in peace, Bray.
You will be missed.
You will. Folks, we are going to end the show on that, I believe. I can't think of a better way to end this episode off. Absolutely, we will be watching that documentary. All of us will be. And it should be fantastic.
Yeah, so we will talk about that next week.
And
after it airs.
Yeah. So we're going to end off the show there. So for all of us here at The Push, my name is Cap.
I'm Dom.
Coppage.
And I'm Francis.
Good night, and continue to follow the buzzards.